Can't get enough of your favorite stuff? Maybe play a game.
Ladies, gentlemen, geeks of all ages, you are now entering BJ Shea's Geek Nation. Welcome.
Hey guys, Chris Walker here, Walk Like a Flame with BJ Shea's Geek Nation. Uncle Chris on BJ and Migs. Feeling a little phlegmatic today, so bear with me. Spent a lot of time on the show talking about games, board games especially, but video games and other types of games, mostly board games. In fact, there's a whole extra episode of BJ Shea's Geek Nation called the Board Game Alliance that you should check out, where all we do is talk about games. Go check it out. Today, though, I really wanted to talk about a particular type of game called an IP game. What does IP stand for, Chris? I'm glad you asked. IP is for intellectual property. Basic idea of an IP game is that anything that's based on another world or a television show or book series or movies or anything like that, they turn into a game, that's an IP game. It's easy to take a game and reskin it, slap something on top of a game that already exists and say, here's Scooby-Doo Monopoly or Nightmare Before Christmas Clue. These are things that exist. They're not really IP games. When I think of an IP game and what a pure IP game is to me, is a game that actually takes you into the world of that intellectual property and gives you a feeling for what it's like to actually be in there, to be enjoying that world of that stuff that you like so much. That's an IP game to me. I've got here some of the IP games that I actually own, but I wanted to just this is just sort of background. I'm not going to open any of them up and show you anything about them. I've talked about a lot of these games on the show before, so you know a little bit about them already if you've been watching and paying attention, and if you haven't, go back and check those episodes out. They're a lot of fun. Just wanted to use them for quick examples. One of the best ones out there, for my money, is the Game of Thrones board game. There's a lot of other Game of Thrones games out there, but this is the one. This is the one that actually feels like you're getting a lot of that Westeros feel and what it's like to actually battle for the throne of the Seven Kingdoms. So if you ever wondered what it would be like to play as your favorite family in the Game of Thrones world, give this a try. It's really, really cool. It's a lot of fun. It's very, very strategy heavy, and it can be a pretty long game, but it's definitely worth a try if you like Game of Thrones at all. Two games that come from the Terry Pratchett Discworld series, the Discworld Ankh-Morpork game, and I've got the Witches here, Witches I just got for Christmas, based on my absolute favorite book series ever, and it really does give you kind of a taste of that world, and it's a wonderful, wonderful couple of games. Really gets you into it. It gives you something more to explore if you do enjoy that fantasy setting that the Discworld is set on. We've talked about the Firefly game. This is the expansion I got. Firefly game actually really, really good as an IP game. It gives you that feeling of being out in the verse and being in Joss Whedon's world, is exploring around and making deliveries and picking things up and trying to keep your crew up in the air, and really just exactly what Firefly the show was all about. And the game translates that wonderfully. This is Star Trek Catan. This was one of those other games I was talking about. This is not a Star Trek game. This is Catan that happens to have a lot of Star Trek stuff in it. So not really an IP game. Still, thought I'd show you because, well, it's Star Trek. I love Star Trek. But a really good IP game for Star Trek, though, in fact, one of the best IP games I've ever played. I'm going to grab this and try not to look. Star Trek Ascendancy. Now, Star Trek Ascendancy really, really gives you an idea of what it's like to be out in the galaxy of Star Trek. Being in that universe and gives you the feel of what it is to travel around and be one of these races and have to interact with the other races and explore strange new worlds and do all of that jazz. Star Trek Ascendancy, the best IP game out there. If you haven't played it, give it a try. It is sort of a 4X game, so settle in. It can be a really long play. Battlestar Galactica is here. The Homeland game is another one. I've not watched a lot of Homeland, but I doubt that it's a whole lot like what that game is. So it's not an IP necessarily. It's a good game that they've slapped a brand on top of, which is fine. Those can be great. And it is a really good game. I don't know if it makes me feel like I'm in the Homeland world at all. I really don't. The Fallout game that I got for Christmas, also kind of a no-brainer, because you take a video game and you turn it into a board game. Feels like it's pretty much set up for you and ready to go. But again, feel like they did a really good job with it. Those are just some of the IP games. This is most of the IP games that I own, actually. I left one or two of them in the other room. But there is one other kind of sort of in the same realm of IP games that I wanted to show you guys today, that I wanted to talk about, that I don't think we get enough of, but it's because it's not that easy of a concept to sort of get your brain around and then to actually turn into a game. Sometimes in a TV show or a movie or something like that, they'll be literally playing a game on that show or in that movie or whatever, and then to have someone take that game from the show that probably is just there for filler, for background, for props, something to a bit of business for the actors to be doing while they're in the scene. Take that game and make it into an actual game. Tall Card. If you watch Firefly, you saw them play Tall Card on an episode, and they were sitting around betting chores on the ship for it. This is fantastic. This is really cool. So they took a game that was just in the show, never existed, and then turned it into an actual game that you can go out and buy. And someone bought me this. It was a present, and it was a very good present, and I'm very happy to have it. That's something I think that that other shows and other games or other movies and TV shows could probably do more of. Anytime you have a game in the world, translate that, find out all the rules, and actually make it a playable game. Now, like I say, you don't actually see that in a lot of movies and TV shows. So a lot of times they'll just be playing poker, or they'll be playing Scrabble, or they'll be playing whatever, games that actually exist out in the world. They don't take the time to throw a different game in there. When it was a sci-fi show, they made up what would they be doing. They may not be sitting around playing poker hundreds and hundreds of years in the future. They would have a new game with new rules and new cards, and well, they turned it into a game, and I think it's fantastic. I want to see more of that. I mean, you can get a 3D chessboard like they played on Star Trek, and it's got rules, and you can play it. Haven't invested in that yet myself. They can be a little spendy, but I've seen it done, and it's spectacular. So more of that game world, movie, TV world. Also, you guys should get together and figure that out so that we can get more of those games out of your show and into the real world. Well, that's about all the time I have for today, guys. You know, IP Games, wanted to run it down for you. I'd been playing a couple of really great ones lately, so I wanted to let you know that this is a thing. If you have a favorite thing out there, there might even be a game for it. So go look into it, find out, see if you like it. Because if you like that world, I'm pretty sure you're going to like the game. Anyway, until next time, stay nerdy. That's about all the time I have for now. I just wanted to